Hi, everybody. My name is Victor Devora, your host for Groundworks, the CKU Podcast. I'm joined today by a Salina legend, local hero, Ethan Bandré. So, Ethan, welcome.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Appreciate the warm welcome. I don't know that I'm a legend, but I love it. I appreciate it.
So, Ethan, um, we were teammates back in high school, but
Yeah.
I want to touch on who you are.
Yeah, it's actually funny. I still remember training with you a couple summers in a row at Bill Burke, and I don't even know if soccer goals still exist at Bill Burke Park, but yeah, I'm a native of Salina. If you looked at my biography, you would think that I was born and raised in Salina. A little fun fact about myself, I actually only lived there for 3.5 years. So I was born in Salina. My parents lived in Hillsborough. My dad worked at Tabor College at the time. Lived in Hillsborough for a little bit. Moved to Ohio. Lived there for 5 years. Moved to Arkansas. Lived there for 5 years, and then moved to Baldwin City, Kansas, which is close to Lawrence. Lived there for 3 years, and then came back to Salina in the summer of 2013. My dad took a job at Kansas Wesleyan, and he's now at Bethany College in Lindsborg. But I'm a guy who moved around a lot, and the one consistent thing in my life was always the game. I love being outside. I love being active, working out, you name it. And I caught on to soccer, and I love the challenge. Uh, I love working hard and setting a goal and doing every single thing that I possibly can to achieve that goal. And soccer's kind of given me that outlet. So that's who I am.
So, Ethan, you talk about how soccer's been your drive. What impact has the game done for you in terms of where you've played, some acolytes you may have accomplished? Want to touch points on that?
Yeah, it's funny. Starting out, soccer was always it was my happy place, and it still is to this day, even though it is my job now. Um, but it was always the type of thing where no matter what was going on in my day, from school, from life, whatever it may be, I'd go to the soccer field and all of my problems would disappear. And there wasn't really anything else that gave me that feeling, that sensation. And I remember being a little kid thinking like, oh man, I think every kid thinks it is. Being a pro athlete would be so cool. And then the more and more that I played and trained and watched myself, just how I could perform and how I could play, I was like, maybe I could do this. And of course, everybody has setbacks along the way. I've been told numerous times that you're not good enough, you can't do it, you're not going to play pro. But for me, the best advice that I've gotten from anybody is just staying consistent. It's the people that are able to stay kind of steady, steady stream the entire time. There's so many highs and lows. It's the guys that can do the same thing every day consistently at a high level that are going to be successful over time. Um, and honestly, that's kind of what I see myself as a guy who I do the little things every single day. If somebody tells me you're not doing this right, then I fix that and keep going. So I try not to let the highs and lows really affect me too much. So
And so, going on to the point where you say you've been told multiple times um, you're not going to go pro, how does it feel that you can tell those people now, eat those words? Because I remember sitting on that bus, your senior year and saying, "Man, Ethan, you're gonna go pro one day," and you told me, "I hope so." To the day where I was at Sporting Kansas City watching you warm up with the Colorado Rapids.
hmm
That is pretty cool. So touch on that.
yeah, I think you get fuel to work hard from multiple different things. That everybody kind of has their why as to why they're doing what they're doing. And for the longest time, it was like, okay, I want to prove these people wrong and whatever else. But as I've aged and as I've been in my career a little bit longer, it's not really so much, hey, prove this guy wrong, because there's always going to be people, in my opinion, there's always going to be people in any facet of life that are going to tell you that you're not good enough because they want that position themselves. And so for me, it's really proving to myself that, man, it's possible. A guy from Salina, Kansas that didn't really have a ton of resources. Salina's got better resources now than when I was there for sure. I remember looking back at it, don't turn me in, hopping the fence at Salina Stadium. I would use the old payphone booth and I'd hop the fence at Salina Stadium because there was nowhere to practice. I couldn't even get a place to train. And it was just the drive of proving to myself, okay, this guy from Salina can do this. And that's really the thing that gives me the most satisfaction is like, I kind of tell this story to a lot of people. Maybe he hears it, I don't know. What I would do to train growing up was, especially in Salina, is I would go on YouTube and I would watch professional goalkeepers train. And I'd say, okay, what drills are they doing? How are they doing them? And I'm going to try and replicate that. And the number of hours that I spent under street lights with my dad volleying a soccer ball. I taught my dad how to volley a ball so that I could get consistent service. Under a street light catching volleys, making sure my knees were right, my elbows were right, all that kind of stuff. And then I made friends with players at Kansas Wesleyan. I would meet them at the field after school and have them kick balls on me, and I'm doing these drills. Well, and one of the main guys that I would watch was Hugo Lloris, who's obviously now at LAFC. And last year in Leagues Cup, we played LAFC in LA, and I was able to shake the hand of a guy who, like, I could tell you exact YouTube videos that I watched consistently. I was like, okay, I got to look like this. I got to look like this. So just kind of a cool full circle moment. That's where I really get my satisfaction from.
Wow, that's cool. Meeting the guy who really gave you the tools to succeed. Um, we talked about this pre-show. Will you talk about all those scars that you got in the background behind you? Because I thought that story was really cool, and I want people at home to know what those mean for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think you take pieces with you from every place you go, and my life, even as a child, as I explained, has been a bit of bouncing around in different locations and moving to different cities. My career has been the same. I spent 2 years in sporting in Kansas City with Sporting KC2 and was in and out of the first team a little bit there, and then went to the Colorado Rapids, started with the second team, and got bumped up to the first team for the remainder of the 2024 season. And this year, I had a really tough time finding a team, to be completely honest. I didn't think I was going to find a contract, and then got a connection, ended up going to preseason just to trial and train. And then I was in the right place at the right time when the Rowdies needed a goalkeeper in preseason. I went in and played a game, and I had a contract a couple of days later. So it's kind of crazy, and you take little things with you. So to explain the scars, bottom one down here is the team that I'm currently with, Tampa Bay Rowdies. I mean, fantastic organization. I love being in Tampa. Fantastic facilities, great club, like really, really good resources, and it's been a pleasure so far here. Next one above it is Pacific Tigers. I went to the University of the Pacific for my undergrad degree, graduated in the summer of 2020. The next one is Des Moines Menace. Sorry about the auto correct with the zooming, but next one's Des Moines Menace. They're a USL League 2 team that I played for in the summer of 2021. Went in as the number 4 there through injuries and people leaving, which is typical in the USL2 season. I ended up playing 10 games, the entire playoff run, and we actually won the 2021 USL2 National Championship. So that was a really cool experience. Next one up there, it's going to zoom, is the Colorado Rapids, who I played with last year in 2024. Next one was Sporting. Like I said, I was with them in 2022 and 2023, so I signed there. I can explain just kind of how professional football works. I got connected with Sporting in the off season of 2021 to 2022, and just did outside trainings with the goalkeeper coach there. Asked if there could be an opening, if they'd be interested in signing me, and they said, no, we're not looking to sign anybody right now. Just our roster's full. There's just nothing you can do. And I remember I was in Kansas City. I'd gone to a couple trials. Nothing really worked anywhere else. And I was in Kansas City packing my bags, getting ready to go home to Salina to figure out what was going to come next, because there was nothing with professional soccer. It wasn't going to happen. And I got a call from one of my connections that said, hey, call me once Alec Duffy, the first team goalkeeper coach in Kansas City, calls you. I said, wait, what? Like, I haven't even spoken to this guy before in my life. I don't know who this guy is. And sure enough, a minute later, Alec Duffy calls me on the phone and says, hey, there's a guy that was in our academy. He's picked up an injury. He's not able to go to preseason with us in Arizona. Do you want to go? He's like, we're not going to sign anybody. We don't really want to sign anybody, but you could use it as leverage to potentially go somewhere else. I said, I'm in, no question. Went there, and 2.5 weeks later, they sat me down and said, hey, we want to sign you to a second team deal. So it's just a matter of being ready when your name's called and doing every single thing that you can to be prepared. So that's the sporting one. Caw Valley above sporting doesn't exist anymore, I don't believe, but it was the USL2 affiliate of sporting. Played for them in 2018 and 2019, which is actually where I made the connection to eventually go back to sporting. And then the top one is Northwestern, which is where I did my master's degree from 2020 to 2021. So there's two that are missing. Can't forget the shout out. You reminded me. Salina South, obviously, where I went to high school, won the state championship there in 2015. That remains to this day one of my best soccer memories. I mean, that was a fantastic experience. It really was. To beat the big boys from Kansas City, I mean, it's just an unbelievable experience. And then the other one that I'm missing is Philadelphia Union. Didn't sign for the team, obviously, but one of the connections that I have is the second team goalkeeper coach there by the name of Ross Kane. He was gracious enough to have me in for training this offseason with them to go to a preseason with the team and to potentially extend my career a little bit. So a massive shout out to him and Philadelphia Union for having me in and allowing me to continue to train and keep the dream alive. So,
I mean, a lot of what I live my life by is not what you know, it's who you know, right? Those are the two biggest things. Obviously, you
yeah,
have to put in the work for when the people that you do know call you up. It's time to get going. But hey, Ethan, let's talk about that state championship, right? Let's talk about that
sure.
run because I got to experience it firsthand watching you guys play. Um, but let some of the young guys that watch these episodes know how it felt. Um, that entire let's just talk about strictly the championship game because to me that game forever lives rent free in my head.
Yeah, for sure. I can't remember. What were you a freshman that year, or were you still in eighth grade?
I was a freshman.
You're a freshman there. Okay. There's certain classes where it's like, okay, I remember playing with you, but I couldn't remember if you were like a freshman my senior year or what it was. But okay, dude, what a season! I mean, wow, that was just an incredible experience from start to finish. I
In 19 and
To this
2.
day, my dad and I talk about some of those names and kind of like, oh, hey, I saw this guy at the grocery store or whatever it may be. But um, one of the stories that resonates with me from that year, just to show how solid we were as a team, how good of players we had, was didn't have the best students though. I will say that didn't have the best students. I know the laugh. Um, there was a practice, probably middle of the way through the season, where they bring us into a huddle, and it's Dave and Steve, and they go, "Do you know how many people are failing classes right now? We just got the grade report." And I'm sitting there, 4.0 student, going, I don't know. And they go, 18. 18 out of a 37-man roster are failing classes. And they're like, all right, we're going to run 120 sprints for every single person that's failing a class. And if everybody doesn't make the time limit, it doesn't count. So we ran 18 120s, okay? We're all on our knees. They bring us in. They go, okay, 18 people are failing classes. Do you know how many classes are being failed? I'm going, oh my gosh, like this has to be over. There's no way. And it was something crazy, like 35 or 40
I think
classes
it was
are being failed.
37. If I remember this number right, it was 37.
Classes being failed.
Yes.
And okay, it's just a crazy number. And they go, all right, we're going to run 6 18 60 shuttle sprints for every single class being failed. We ran for an hour and 45 minutes straight. Mm-hmm. Didn't touch a ball. That was match day -1. We go to Goddard Eisenhower, I believe, the day later, and we beat them 8-0. Like that was the caliber of team that we had. I mean, we didn't need a lot of coaching. We needed discipline more than anything. But we had incredible players. And then in the postseason run, we did really well in the regional stuff. We beat Liberal, if I believe, in the state quarterfinals. I mean, at home, incredible experience. It was the first time, wasn't it the first time ever that a Salina team made it to state?
Mm-hmm.
And kudos to the teams since I've graduated. I know you guys have gone to state. I watched you in Spring Hill, I want to say, in 2023. So the teams have made it back to state for sure, and it's really cool to see. But
They've gone
we
back
went
to back.
back to back.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's incredible. Kudos to them for sure. That's
I
awesome.
think they finished third in 23, and last year they finished fourth.
Fourth, that's awesome. I mean, it's an incredible season. But to go to Topeka state championship 2015, played Blue Valley Southwest, which is a perennial powerhouse these days. I kind of keep in touch a little bit. Perennial powerhouse. We won 2-1, if I recall. I think they scored a PK in the semis.
Yep.
Won that game 2-1. We're going to the state championship. It's St. Thomas Aquinas, who we actually played in a summer tournament before the season actually started and lost 1-0 in the summer tournament. And going to the game, obviously it's massive. It's the no-name guys from Salina, no big names, no big club players, nothing like that. Against the massive players from St. Thomas Aquinas, all play big club ball in Kansas City, have year-round access to football. Like, we had no chance of winning that game on paper. And we played really well. David Palacios, who I still keep in touch with to this day, great friend of mine, equalizes, go to golden goal overtime. Boo-boo, Jose Escobedo taps in a ball for the golden goal winner. And, I mean, wow, it doesn't get much better. Like, it really was one of the best experiences that I've had, for sure.
That moment is on YouTube, right? You know that, right?
I've
So
watched it a few times since, and it still gives me
Jose's
goosebumps.
goal is on YouTube, and every now and then I pull it up because I still get the chills when he beats the defender and
Yep.
goalkeeper comes out and he just slots it in, and
Yep.
you see everybody clear benches, and you see an all yellow, keeper come out with the Petr Cech
Oh my gosh, don't
helmet,
remind me about the helmet. I
throwing
forgot about the
water.
helmet. Don't remind me about the helmet. Oh my gosh. Shout out
Yeah.
my mom. I told her in college I'm not wearing that thing anymore. No way. But oh my gosh, the helmet. Wow.
Yes, you see the iconic look, man. I was a little disappointed I didn't see the helmet at Sporting, but it's all right. But
I'm sure they still have it in their garage if you wanted to get it for me.
oh, I'm taking it. I'm gonna message your mom and ask her if we can put it on display at Magnolia Soccer Complex.
Hey, she'd probably let you. By all means, take that out of her garage. Do not give her any ideas, please.
But going back to it, right? That you say that's one of your greatest accomplishments.
Yeah.
Obviously, the year next we didn't have that success, losing
We
10
had we
to.
had good success that year. I remember we did. Um, going up into we won regionals. We beat Newton in regionals. I think like 1-0 maybe, like kind of squeaked by. And then we went down to Cape and Mount Carmel at Stryker before they renovated it. It was still grass, really choppy grass. And that game, I think to this day, was the most goals that I've conceded in a single game, but also the most saves that I've had in a single game. So that was
Yeah, that
crazy.
game also does live rent free in my head. It was 10-2.
10-2. Wow. I did
It
not
was
remember the two. I did not remember the score, but I knew it was bad.
it was
Wow.
it was 2-1 at half. I will say that. It was 2-1 at
And
half, and they tore us apart. Um it was,
they had a guy that went Division 1 from that school, or from
yeah,
Caven, didn't they?
they had a couple players go Division 1 there. I think their center
One
mid, their attacking mid,
one went
and
to the
then
University of Tulsa.
yep, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
they had a center back go D1 that year too.
Okay.
So I know for sure 3 went D1.
Okay.
So, I mean, that was a team, right? That
Yeah,
was probably one of the better state teams I've ever seen, and I've seen some pretty competitive Kansas schools.
for
Um,
sure.
but using the state, that momentum carried you on to college, right?
Hmm.
You went out to college, you competed well out there,
Yeah.
um, going Division 1. what advice do you have a kid that's probably sitting in the same shoes thinking I don't have the same resources that you do? How did you get there? Because you said it earlier, you had to jump fences. These kids don't have to no more. They
Yeah,
have
yeah,
Magnolia Soccer Complex has been well invested in. They have
yeah.
goals.
I went back last summer, and I mean, it's in incredible shape. It really is. Like I would be out there if I was there now. I'd be out there all the time, getting extra reps in, getting training in. Like it's important. Those little things matter. And then just the visibility, I think, is really important. I People ask me as a professional player, and I don't want to start any controversy or anything like that, but they're like, what's holding U.S. soccer back? What's holding back teams from being top level, from us developing the top talent? And I think one of the areas, from my perspective, growing up in kind of rural central Kansas, is I don't know that our scouting system at the youth level is the best right now. I think there's a lot of players that go under the radar that if somebody would take the chance on them, yeah, they're playing high school ball. I understand that. Not the highest of levels. I get it. Take the chance on them. Bring them into your environment. Let them train for a few weeks. See what they can do. See if they progress, and take a chance. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, we're a country of, I don't know what the current population is, but 380, 390 million. Like, yeah, people are going to fall under the ropes, but I think we've got to do a bit better of having a more robust scouting department, ability to look at high school programs. It's a bit harder, it's a bit more work, but going out and watching those games, because I think about the number of guys on my 2015 and 2016 state championships, or 2015 state championship and then 2016 team as well. If they got seen by somebody, brought in and trusted for a little while, man, I've got to believe that they could make it as well, or at least go to a top Division 1 school. I mean, I know the Vitor guy from Wichita went to Clemson, so it's possible. Like these guys are capable; they are good enough players. I mean, you asked about how I made it, so another connection. It's funny enough, like that's kind of how I made it. Um, when I lived in Baldwin City, Kansas, from 2010 to 2013, I played for Toka FC, and one season I think he was only there for like a semester kind of situation, like 16 weeks or so. And then we moved to Salina. His name's Matt Gow. He's currently an executive director at Toka. He was at Mid American Nazarene at the time, and then went to be a grad assistant at Virginia Tech. Went from Virginia Tech to University of the Pacific to be an assistant coach. And I'm sure the dates have changed, but it was like June 1st of my junior year or September 1st of my junior year when schools could start talking to players. And I got a phone call from him September 1st. Hey, I'm an assistant coach at Pacific. I want to see you come. I want to see you at Pacific and try and bring you here. Like I'll help you go anywhere that you want to go, but I really want to have you at Pacific. And I was like, okay, that's awesome. I mean, have you seen me play much since I was 12 when you coached me? And he only coached me for 16 weeks. And he goes, no, not really, a little bit, but I know what I saw when you were 12. I want to bring you out to Pacific. I've talked to some people. I want to bring you out. So I think a lot of it is just to go back to your question of how to do it, how to make it. I think a lot of it is doing the extra work, making sure you're ready when your name's called, keeping your head down, doing well in all facets of life, like not just soccer. There's so many other things that go into life than just soccer. And if you're not doing well in school, obviously that's what a lot of the kids that this will go to, so that they're in, is school. If you're not doing well in school, it's going to impact your ability on the field because your mind's not going to be free to play soccer. Like you need to stay sharp on that kind of stuff. Nutrition, hydration, sleep, recovery, which obviously recovery, the most important things are nutrition, sleep, and hydration. Um, Doing all the little things right, trying to make connections. If you have a chance to, I don't know, you guys play tournaments in Wichita and Kansas City all the time. Do that kind of stuff. It's important because that's unfortunately right now, that's where a lot of the scouts are. That's where you're going to get the ability to be seen and have that visibility in the soccer community, is going to those types of tournaments where bigger people are. And reach out, make a highlight tape. If you have quality film, make a highlight tape, send it to somebody. Say, hey, here's who I am, here's my GPA, here's my stats, here's my like vital information, height, weight, that kind of stuff, and say, hey, would you take a chance? Could I come play? Could I come try out? That kind of stuff all makes a difference. Just trying to build connections as best you can.
Well, I couldn't have said it much better. Um, Ethan, thank you so much for taking the time to sit
Of course.
here and talk to me. I know you're a really busy guy. Um, is there one last piece of advice that you would give any CKU player?
I tell this to a lot of people and it's so redundant, but I just tell them to keep working hard and keep enjoying it. I actually, it's funny. I do private sessions and coaching down here in Tampa right now. I had one of the parents, he was watching a session the other day, and the kid didn't have the greatest of days. I mean, kind of so. I'm walking off the field and he goes, thumbs up or thumbs down for that session? And I didn't even have to hesitate. Thumbs up. Because he's out here putting in extra work, doing all the little things and trying to be better. And that right there it's 3/4 of the battle. It really is. Getting out, doing the extra work consistently. So I always tell people, keep working hard, enjoy the process, have fun doing it, and just stay as consistent as you possibly can. So, and then one other thing, I love being a resource for people. So, I don't know if you can like tag my Instagram. It's
Of course.
EVBGK1. I'm pretty responsive on there. So if anybody has any questions or like they want to reach out, I'm more than happy to be a resource. So reach out that way, shoot me a message, and I'll do my best to get back to you. So
I don't know, man. You open a can of worms you won't be able to close. You'll have all the young guys
anything,
hitting
like
you up. All
anything,
right.
just shoot me a question. I'll do my best to respond.
All right, guys. Well, Ethan, thank you again. And thank you everyone for joining me for this episode of Groundwork. Um, Join us next week for our next one. So thanks, Ethan. Have a great day.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.